Greetings, Patrick here, 8 Questions With, and welcome to Crazy July, Jumping July, if you want to be so bold. Yeah, we are coming back. This is going to be a month that we have not had in here in a long, long time. Let's see what we got. We got interviews, we got Dollar Theater, we got Ritual 2, we got Mark Polonia Film Week. We have two IFC shows this month, both hosted by a good friend Ben from Cadaver Club. We're going to be doing our five favorite IFC films and one turkey. Yeah, it's going to be action and adventure. We got shows all over the place over the month, and I'm looking forward to it. And it's going to start off here tonight. Some of you already got started a little early. If you watched Retro 2 before you came here, me and Eric from Hey Internet, it's Eric. He and I, it was my first time watching an episode from this show, but he and I did an episode of Quantum Leap. Never seen the show before, but we took it out. We took out an episode, The Great Spontini, that featured Amy Steele, Eric's favorite final girl from the Friday the 13th franchise, and we went to town on it. Very, very fun show. A little longer than our normal shows go for RetroTube, but I really did not know anything about the show. I mean, I know the premise, but I didn't know the show itself. So we took a little bit of time. We talked about the show and the implications of it and whatnot. And it was a lot of fun, and it's out now. You can see that on my channel. You could also see that on the RetroTube playlist as well. So there we go. This week, starting tonight, we have two shows this week. First one is Daniel Bowhers. He is an artist and a visual effects artist, and he's also a writer. And so he has worked on some fantastic films: Armageddon Time, Smile, Deep Water. And he also directs, and he is, directed. Let me tell you what he's directed, because I think it's pretty outstanding. He's getting more and more involved with the, as far as behind the camera goes. So he does special effects. He's also has directed two films that we're really going to be talking to him about. One called Blue Hour, The Disappearance of Nick Brandith, and then Beyond the Drumlets. So we have a lot to talk to him about. And there might be a celebrity guest appearance. We don't know. We're hoping. That's right. There could be a special guest appearance. So we're going to be talking to Daniel Bowhers tonight. Tomorrow, we will be welcoming back Jamie, our good friend Jamie Hill, and she will be back to catch us up on what she has been up to. She has been very busy, by the way, very busy. And I caught her latest short film that she popped up in, and a really pleasant, a really fun short film called Boneyard Racers. A lot of fun. Yeah, I can't wait to talk to Neil Chase, because he's also going to be here. The man who directed and wrote Boneyard Racers. He's going to be here along with Jamie, and we're going to be talking about his career, what she's been up to, and also the big movie that they're going to be pushing tomorrow, and we'll be talking about, is a movie called Contamination. Contamination sounds really exciting, and it features a lot of our favorite Canadian actors. Jamie is there, and of course the lovely Elizabeth Chamberlain, aka Team Genesis Brady, from I'm Haunted, I'm Haunted series, but she is playing a army captain in Contamination. It looks pretty damn good, to tell you the truth. Unfortunately, it's not playing anywhere that I can see it. It's hiding behind paywalls, and so yeah. Hey, greetings, Nepal. Nice. Glad you're here, man. Wow. All right. I like that. New to the channel? We do a lot of fun things here. That's for sure. Yeah, go ahead and throw down a sub, man, and then you can check out what we're doing. So we'll be talking to Jamie as well as Neil. Um, already, because Neil, threw out the Boneyard Racer, and I just, I saw that, I saw the video, and I'm going like, that guy Johnny, he's a pretty badass driver and everything, but is he faster than the cheetah? So we might throw down tomorrow night as far as setting up a Boneyard Racer too. But either way, we're gonna have a lot of fun tomorrow with Jamie and Neil and whoever else might show up. Now, other things that we got going on in July, like I mentioned, on the 13th of July, starting on Monday, Monday the 13th, that will kick off our Mark Polonia Film Week. That's right. We watched 5 films from Mark Polonia. We did this last year and had a lot of fun doing it. So this year we decided to do it again. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this. The movies, you just pick out random movies that you haven't seen, like I did. I was like, "Well, what have I not seen from Mark?" Uh, I was amply rewarded for watching it. I was a little nervous that it might have not have stacked up to last year's movies because last year was really strong. I know people might be shaking their head when I say that about Mark Polonia movie, but you know what? They were very good movies last year. I was very impressed. Once Upon a Time in Amityville, I think the title itself may have stopped it, but that movie itself is a banger and highly recommend. Highly recommend that. I saw that last year. This year we're gonna have more fun. We're doing some Bigfoot because because you know there's certain friends of mine that are big into Bigfoot. Hey, Michael. Hey, Lady Valerie, Russell. Um, of course. So we're doing some Bigfoot. So Monday we're gonna be doing a movie that I watched before. I attempted to watch before when Family Video was around, and I remember buying this movie because the cover was just absolutely 100% badass cover. It's such a badass cover. Um, and I went ahead but I only made it about 10 minutes to the movie. And then I gave it to my friend Catfish, and then Catfish gave it back to me. So I thought, and I held on to it. I held on to it. And so we decided to do our Mark Polonia film week. I said, well, you know what? I'm going to go back and revisit that movie. So I did. So we will be watching Bigfoot versus Zombies. Then we're going to be watching Frozen Sasquatch. Let's see. Let's see. Ghostfoot, awesome. Yes. I don't know if Mark's done a Ghostfoot yet. Let me tell you what else we got here. Why? Because it's so much fun. Okay, let me see what I got. Let's see. I actually put it on a playlist. Let's see if I can find it here. Oh, okay. All right, so here's what we're doing. We're doing Bigfoot versus Zombie on the 13th. On the 14th, we're doing Frozen Sasquatch. On let's see. On the 15th, we're doing Teddy Scare. And that actually was pretty good. Definitely the best performance I've seen from Tim Hatch. I thought he was excellent in this movie. The 16th, we'll see us talk about all things Noah's Shark, because of course we did. And then we're going to end it up with War Raiders, which is a different type of film from Mark Polonia. Now, this is something we've never seen before. I picked it out because it looked totally different. I had never seen Mark do a movie like this, so I said, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take a chance on this one. And the only thing I can say about that movie was, like I said in my review, is I just wish he had more money because the story's there. Story is absolutely 100% there. But the budget it's one of those things where the concept is so good, but they just don't have any money to put it together. I mean, they did their best. Um, and I can't fault them for that. I mean, they tried. But it's an interesting little film, and you guys can check it out. That'll be coming out here in the middle of July. All right. Okay, so I see that A24 is back to torturing their fans. I heard that they're going to be taking back rooms back to the theater with like 15 to 20 minutes of extra footage. I can't even imagine. I cannot even imagine the absolutely horror of actually being dragged into the theater, screaming and kicking because someone wants to watch 20 more minutes of paint drying on the wall. That movie, man, that movie's. I know Supergirl's getting a lot of heat, and it really boggles my mind because yes, well, Supergirl's story is beyond stupidity. Thank you, James Gunn. It's beyond stupidity. I am not a, I, you know, I am not a, I'm just not a fan. I'm not a fan of his movies, his superhero movies. I love Slither. I love the remake of Dawn of the Dead. I mean, but man, when he gets his hands on superhero movies, my knees start shaking because I know James Gunn's gonna find a way to mess it up. Um, and that's really evident with Supergirl. People are saying it's a misogyny. Men are just they can't handle a strong woman on screen. That's not it at all. I mean, Supergirl lasted for 6 years with Melissa Benoist lasted for 6 years. That's really well done. And in Stargirl, it wasn't Batwoman's fault that she didn't make it. Okay, the doorbell ring. I don't know if Daniel's a superhero guy. If he is, we can have some fun with this. But help me welcome our good friend Daniel, and maybe a celebrity guest appearance. Like I said, let's go get him. There he is.
How you doing,
All
Patrick?
right. So good, good. How are you?
Hey, all good.
I was sort of baiting the chat with the fact there could be a celebrity sighting tonight. I'm
Oh
looking
yeah.
behind you. Yeah, maybe so. Maybe.
Oh no, I'm actually. This is kind of late. I'm in New York City, so my wife's on the couch, and I'm down in our building's workstation area. So Potato is unfortunately not going to be joining tonight.
Oh man. Well, that instantly books you for a return visit. That earns you a return visit right there. Because I was looking forward to meeting Potato. Um, in
Everyone
case
loves
in case.
Potato.
Oh my gosh. How did you get the name for him? I mean, how did you end up getting him?
Yeah, he's a stray. Um, I love cats, man. I think my parents say my first word was kitty. If I didn't say mom, I didn't say dad. I wanted the cat. Um, I honestly forget how we named him Potato. He looks like a potato, and he's always had a fondness for couches. So I think going from street cat in New York to a house, he was just stoked that he had something to sit on that was soft.
Have you heard? How far away in Brooklyn are you?
I'm in Queens. We were in Brooklyn when we got Potato, but I've always been kind of like North Brooklyn, Bushwick, Greenpoint. And now I've been in Astoria for about 10 years now.
I mention that because there's a cat rescue call in Brooklyn called Flatbush Cats, and
Yeah, that's
they
like
do
South Central Brooklyn.
okay. They do an awesome job. they love cat. Okay, yeah, this is a cat show. Um,
Right on,
yeah,
man. I'm here for
yeah,
that.
man, no doubt, right? They would have, I love cats. Um, when people talk about horror icons, it's so different because when you find out like one of your favorite heroes, horror heroes, when you find out after you watch him cut somebody in half, you're sitting there going like, "What the hell?" And then he turns around, he winks at you, and says, "I love cats," and you're going like, "Oh, all right, well that's cool then. Slice away, Art the Clown."
I forget what movie. It might have been Thanksgiving or Thanksgiving, the Eli Roth one. I think that like the serial killer, like he offs someone, then he feeds the cat.
Yes, yes.
I mean, I get it. Like for me, I like cats because I don't trust dogs. I don't trust any animal that's that excited to see me because I'm not that excited to see me. A cat just sort of cruises and you kind of cohabitate with them. It's more about sharing a space than like owning a cat, which I like.
I think what I hate about what I hate, I mean, I know a lot of my friends, and there's one dog. Shout out to my good friend Maynard, um, my friend Rebecca, and her dog Maynard. I know a lot of my friends, and you probably have the same thing, who have pit bulls. I really, and they seem so happy-go-lucky, but man, Daniel, I just cannot. I mean, I'm just like, whenever I get around one of them, I am like so amped up about it. The anxiety,
Hmm.
it goes through the roof because it's like, you can pet him, he's friendly. And I'm like, how many times was that somebody else's last words before that dog decided to take that arm and go running down the street with you? Um, I I get nervous around that breed. Um,
Huh.
yeah. But I've had dogs in my life. I had a Siberian Malamute who saved my life. I've had a really lovely he was part Pekingese and part Australian Shepherd. And dog was fast as hell. So I
Yeah, I
like
bet.
dogs too, but I'm a cat guy. Uh,
Cool.
so I'm sure of all your interviews, I'm sure this is probably the one that you probably is sitting there going like, well, this is the weirdest place I've ever been to.
No, I did like a women's filmmaker thing for some reason, and that was pretty strange. I'm just like wrapping up a work day here, so my brain is a little kaput. So I'm just going with whatever you want to talk about, man.
Well, well, there you go. I can't think of a more relaxing subject to talk about than pets. Um,
Oh, hell yeah.
but I noticed one thing too when I was looking, not only your body of work, because you're also because you're a special effects artist, but I noticed one of the things you do that to lower stress, and that is you like to paint, you like to draw.
Mhm.
Um,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I saw that, and you're quite good at it too. Your drawings are great.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I like painting. I kind of came to it later in life, but when I started getting tattooed, I started looking more into art, and especially just being in New York. There's so many museums, galleries, and stuff. You always can look at something, and it was useful, I think, as a filmmaker. Just another way to like, when you're working on a movie or something like that, it takes forever, and you can just bosh out a painting in a night if you want to. And you don't have to take
Now,
notes.
now, do you use your painting? Do you use your painting for all aspects of your career? Both, you use it as a stress releaser, you do it as a creative energy. You also do it as, basically just to wind down, or to come up with more ideas for writing or for special effects. I mean, sitting there you're drawing something beautiful on a canvas, and you go like, I think I could put something like this in a movie. Um, so does art drive your creative engine?
Maybe a little. I think I look at creativity as just problem solving. I actually don't think that I'm a particularly creative person, and anyone who's seen my art, I think, would attest to the fact that I've got a good handle on color, but I don't necessarily make the prettiest images. I make really bright, weird things, which is weird because I make pretty desaturated films. I think it all is interconnected, and I think human beings need to make stuff. You know, my wife is really big into knitting and even makes her own yarn, and I just think people need to use their hands and brains and make shit. Oh, sorry, I don't know if I should swear here, but I'm
Oh
from
no, hell
Boston,
yeah.
so I'll end up swearing a lot.
No. Say whatever the fuck you want. You know, it's all good here.
Yeah, I can be pretty good about it. I just yeah, you know, I think making stuff is cool. Yeah.
So how did you get your start? I mean, this is the one question everybody starts off with, so we have to start off with it too. But before we get into your body of work, is you have some really impressive credits here. I was really excited to talk to you, and that was even before I found out you had a killer cat. Even before that, I was like, okay, this is someone I want to talk to. Um, God, I gotta say one thing, Daniel. I did not expect the response I got when I put that post out there in the chat, and
Oh,
and
sure.
oh my lord, I got over 100 responses.
Oh, that's awesome. You can backlog all the conversations, and hopefully this one keeps up with the rest of them.
The ones that the ones that I'm talking to are I got the ones in here in July, and then I'll come back there, and then we'll try to do it again. A lot of the times, someone will make contact with me off of that, and then we find out that they're busy. A lot of them are doing shoots or what have you. So like the 100 people initially saying yes, circumstances generally go up to be like 25 or 30. Because
Mhm.
of like, but still, it was really something else to see that kind of response. Um, it seems like there's it seems like the first half of the year we were talking about, and that one I was listening to a lot of podcasts too, and I was listening to one where Ron Perlman was talking with Jonathan Frakes and Brent Spiner, and he was saying how things seem to be grinding to a halt on the Hollywood level. But good Lord, when it comes down to indie filmmaking, it seems like you guys are really cranking it up. Do you feel that too? Do you feel like there's a lot of movies being made out there? It's just not the ones that, it's just not the big budget ones that we're all used to seeing.
Yeah, I think the gig economy is something that sort of spans everything from cab drivers to filmmakers and every occupation there between. I think there's a lot of opportunities to make stuff. There's not an awful lot of opportunities to make a living doing it. And I think that's what happens when everything becomes a commodity and everything becomes borrowed, and a very few number of corporations are kind of holding the bag. There's not an awful lot of competition, and you know, I don't know. I mean, I'm not really in the Hollywood machine, um, but yeah, if Ron Perlman's saying it, it's probably pretty accurate. He seems like a sharp dude.
Yeah. And of course, his most famous character is Hellboy, and what's the one thing Hellboy has in common with us?
A Red Skull,
And and
a cat, I assume.
cats.
I don't know anything about Hellboy, so I just
Have you
know.
you ever seen Hellboy yet? Oh Lord.
No, I mean, I like Guillermo del Toro quite a bit. I just, yeah, I've never seen Hellboy.
Oh my gosh, you'll once you watch it and you'll see it, you'll start laughing. It'll become one of your favorite films overnight,
Oh,
guaranteed.
cool.
Yeah, I like Del Toro too. I like him. Of course, it's funny. It's like funny. You always hear about some directors. You just, they always go from one project to another, and they very, very rarely ever go back to. Del Toro's one of those that he rarely goes back to where he's been. Like he's always looking for doing something new. But for the life of me, if I could get that man to just do one sequel, if he just would do that, and I wish he would go back and do another Pacific Rim. Now,
Oh, interesting.
speaking of special effects, so that movie right there, would that be? what kind of movie would you like to work on? What are three films that you've watched that impressed you so much that you wish that you were the one back there running the FX that has really impressed you that much outside your own
For
work?
for effects specifically,
Yeah,
truthfully, I'm not really motivated by special effects. I'm a visual effects artist. The difference
it's
being
makeup,
special
right?
effects are practical, they're on set. That's anything from like pyrotechnics to face costumes, all that. Visual effects are the like the finished digital product of a shot, whatever that might be. That could be any number of things from beauty work, like fixing the insane bags I have under my eyes, to blood effects, green screen work, CG or AI integration, that kind of thing. But I
So
got
you were
into
work.
VFX accidentally and I don't really like see a thing and think, oh, I want to do that from a VFX standpoint. It's kind of just a job.
But visual effects, I mean, it's when it comes down. I mean, you're the ones you're the one that puts the stamp on it. I mean, they can create the scene, but you go in there and put it together. I mean, what we're seeing, if we see a gunshot or a
Mhm.
car case, with flames or whatever, that's you behind there putting that together, right?
Yeah, I just do a lot of math and computer stuff. And my job brings me on set quite often where I have to like work with the director or the ad agency or whatever and visualize what's going to happen and plan the camera stuff so that it all will work together.
Now that to me it's like when you just mentioned about the ad people. So, and you were mentioning earlier that yet you didn't think that you were that creative. You weren't. That's sort of like a misnomer, right? I mean, because you work with the directors, you work with especially with the ad agencies. Things don't go unless you are there putting it together, right? Is that safe
To
to
some
say?
extent, it's problem solving, and there's creativity in problem solving, but it is a different thing, I think. And that's maybe other VFX supervisors have a different take on it. But I really do look at what I do as just finding the right questions to getting the director or producer or whomever to tell me what they need, and then just sort of working with them. I'm a safety blanket just to sort of think about the most technical aspects of a film and make it work.
I like that term. Or a fireman.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually joked a lot of time I'm just a video janitor. The shit comes in, we clean it, we fix it, and it goes out into the
Wow.
world.
So how did you get your start in this? I mean, you had to start somewhere. So was this something that you just walked into, or is it something that you saw on TV? Was it someone who inspired you, encouraged you? How did you take your first step?
I mean, I think the first step in filmmaking for me was I was making like stop motion videos on like an old, just like a Pentax video camera that my parents had. So I would just, I kind of was super into Gumby, and claymation in general just was fascinating to me. I was like, you could kind of tell like the frame rates weren't right. There weren't motion blur and stuff. And it didn't look normal. And I had all these like Legos and stuff. And I would just hit record and just sort of learn how to do it. And sometimes I would have like a live action shot where I would just drop things or whatever it was. Um, so like I was making movies from a very young age, and I studied political science and film theory in college. And I kind of just stumbled into VFX. My first job in the film industry was in the mailroom at Company 3, which is a big color correct facility in New York City and LA, London. And it was my job just to like clean film negative. This was when things were still mostly being shot on film.
Wow.
And yeah, eventually I got an interview at this other facility, and they were looking for someone who had kind of a color background, and I did. And I'd worked on movies like The Road and the Taking of Pelham 123 remake, which was terrible. And yeah, they kind of were just like, you might be good at visual effects. And I kind of laughed, but I knew enough that if someone in the film industry or any job kind of tells you could be good at something, like give it a shot, because they obviously
Right.
see like a purpose for you being around. And I proceeded to spend, this was when like VFX systems, you couldn't do this stuff at your house. I was learning at the studio every day. And for a year, I went into the office every Saturday. I was the only person there, like 99% of the time. And I would just learn. And I would just, whatever the freelancers had done that week, I would just undo what they had done. And I just taught myself. I had mentors along the way and freelancers who showed me things. But yeah, it's been like a 20-year process of just failure and trying again.
Let me go to the chat real quick. I want to say hi to Jerry's here and Russell's here. Anthony's here. Our good friend Hobbs Hoare is here. He mentions I've seen a couple recent films and heard about CGK based films. One I saw was Cicada, which was okay, wasn't too bad, and the other was Wapzilla.
Is that about like a giant, like white Anglo-Saxon person?
Cicada? I don't know, but I know Wapzilla is just a piece of shit, and he's pulling my leg on that. I'm not going to fall for that. I'll tell you about it off camera. Do you feel that market is too saturated for those types of films? Let's see. Yes. It's always nice when you freelance and learn your own style. That's so cool. WAP's still up. God. So yeah, there's some really extremely low budget, no budget films, and they look like they've been made on an Atari 2600. You know how Pong was? That they were made with one of those. It's just absolutely just like, you know, tech was around maybe 50 years ago or 40 years ago. But I guess, you know, the thing is, though, I don't think that I mean, tell me if I'm wrong here, but is it what is the minimum cost for a competent VFX visual effects artist and the software? What's like the baseline that it would cost if you were going to do, like, say, a low budget film, $50,000? Could you do a good get a good visual effects artist to come in there and make that movie look great if you spend a little bit of money?
Well, if you don't shoot it right, you can't make anything look good. You can't change lighting.
Yeah. Well, so much for Wapzilla.
I don't think budget makes a thing, and I don't think tech makes a thing good or bad. You know, you got Mark Jenkin out there. He's still shooting on a camera from like the late 60s. And he only shoots with a hand crank. I think it's 35 millimeter. And then he processes the neg in a shed behind his house. He's this British dude. He's a fucking maniac. And the movie Ennismen is amazing. And his new one, I'm really excited. I have tickets to go see The Rose in Nevada tomorrow. And Bait is one of he just makes these awesome looking, super unique films. I think you could use anything to make a movie. It's just, you know, is your idea halfway decent? And are you making like the best use of your resources? Budget, tech, it's all just the means. Yeah.
Hello, Lady Valerie. How are you? Cicada is actually a wild-eyed film about a killer cicada. Yeah, but those are just like, I guess that's just a different kind of visual effects. I mean, you know, I guess it all depends on how much you want to put into it. Now, you mentioned about you came in for a solid year and you just learned on your own, you know, for freelancers, and you mentioned a couple of mentors. Now, how did you, you know, to me, it's like you had already started making your own films, and then it's almost like you would think that you started off with VFX first, then started becoming a filmmaker after that. But it was actually the opposite. Did you, while you were doing your special effects, were you thinking about going back into directing and writing? Was this something that you always had in the back of your mind? And how did you make it happen for yourself?
Oh, what was the second part there? I couldn't hear you.
How did you make your journey is sort of flip-floppy in a way, in the fact that you started off as a filmmaker. You know, you were shooting your own film, and then you became a visual effects supervisor. Did you ever, when you were doing that, when like especially when you were going to the office for a year, did you ever do any filmmaking and incorporate your visual effects training? Did you do that on your own? Were you allowed to do that on your own?
Yeah, I did it all the time. I mean, also like when you say I started as a filmmaker, I mean, we're talking about like a 10-year-old kid making stop motion movies with like Play-Doh and Legos. Like there wasn't much of a thought of a career or anything. And then throughout college, we made films. And in my little group of people, I tended to write the most. And another one of us, there were like four dudes that we made movies with throughout college, and two of us have gone on to become VFX supervisors. And when he found out, he's like LA based, I'm in New York, so he was laughing. He's like, "You hate computers? Like, why are you doing this?" I'm like, "I hate computers, but I love solving puzzles," and that's what visual effects is. So I would always shoot stuff, and then it's just a cheat code because other directors, when I'm there, supervising a film or a commercial or something, they need to stop and have 10, 15-minute conversations all day long. So if they have 10 questions, they've wasted 1/10 of their day talking to me. So when I'm shooting, I can move really fast because I can already just sort of see it. I'm planning it. I'm already thinking of like what's like the third, fourth, fifth thing that we're going to do. And they've always been kind of like together. And I think I've come up in an era of filmmaking where you have to sort of be good at like two or three different things if you're going to like do this for a career.
So basically, you're playing chess while they're playing checkers.
That probably gives me more credit than I deserve. I'm really just thinking very quickly and just saying, I've got like I can picture the final result before we're done.
Wow, that's a gift. That's a gift.
I think I've seen a lot, and I love photography, painting. I like composition, and I think I have a pretty good handle on lighting things usually. So, I think everyone has weaknesses, and I think my big one is like I'm pretty low on. I don't really direct the actors very much. we figure it out beforehand.
Yeah, but you know what though? It's you gotta gain experience. I mean, there's directors I know that they didn't direct their actors very well either, and yet some are considered successful. But it's just something they have to learn and get better doing. And I'm sure you will too. I mean, some of the movies that you've already been a director on 7 films, so I'm pretty sure you know your way around a film set as far as wearing a director's hat. Is it different? What's the biggest difference between being a visual effects supervisor and being a director? What's the biggest what's the biggest difference for you when you walk onto a set knowing you're going to be directing versus visual effects?
So directors aren't on set that much. So when you're a director, you're usually everyone around you is on set much more often than you are. So I think it's really important to sort of step back. You're sort of the coach. When you are a visual effects supervisor, you are like one of the players on the court, and you need to like know what the hell you're talking about. And you need to know how to separate the two. It'd be very easy for me to go onto a set and start like slipping into director mode. But if I'm hired to be a VFX supervisor, that's not my place. I'm there to worry about a specific set of problems, not the overall idea. I don't know if that answers your question, but that's the best I got.
Okay, Hobbs is back with some questions. Says, can you talk about a film I watched called This Is Christmas with Eric Roberts and one I haven't seen called The Smell? That sounds like a film.
It's called That Smeller, I think.
Huh? It says, called The Smell. Thoughts on those, and do you prefer shorts or feature film?
Shorts are fun, to answer that question. I don't really make shorts all that often, or not intentionally. Sometimes friends and I will just start making something and that'll happen. I don't know much about This Is Christmas, to be honest. That came into a studio called Smoke and Mirrors that I used to work at. And well, I guess it used to exist. That's one that has bit the dust. I did a few shots on it. I've never seen the completed thing. When I found out Eric Roberts was in it, I kind of knew it wasn't going to be for me.
How do you decide that? How do you
Go
decide
ahead.
that? Do you decide that because of the budget level, because of the budget, or the story's not the story could be more dramatic driven, not going to be cause for not going to need any visual effects.
Oh no, dramas often have ass loads of VFX. It was more just like I knew it wasn't me for me as a viewer. If it was an Eric Roberts movie, it wasn't. And also it being Christmas, I'm not into pagan holidays, so I'm not gonna like really mess with that. Um, so I don't know. I don't remember much about it. I know I did some green screen comps that I think came out looking really shitty. Um, and it was a very low budget movie that at the time I was working with the guy who color graded the Matrix, and he had a real ego, and he brought this thing in, and everyone was like, "What the fuck? Why are we doing this? It's fucking terrible." That Smell was actually directed by someone who I met through Smoke and Mirrors, Kyle Lavore, who's an awesome dude and a great director from Chicago who lives out here in New York, and it's just one of his. I really want him to be able to make a feature because he's a better writer, director, and just idea guy than I'll ever be. And I love his tone. He's got kind of like a very bizarre mix of like, I hate to call it like Wes Anderson, but a real smallness to his films and specificity. Um, yeah, I think Kyle, I mean, this is why I want Kyle to make his feature. He's got this great one called Enough Cocaine to Time Travel, and he's been working on all this really cool stuff. So hopefully it happens because I would love to be his VFX supervisor and make one of those movies with him.
Now, what's your opinion about what's going on? It seems like it happened overnight, but obviously it hasn't gotten overnight. But now all of a sudden we're all of a sudden these directors are suddenly, and like I said, we know better. We know they've been working for years. But what is your take on what we're seeing now in terms of like a lot of YouTubers coming over and becoming directors? And I'm sure from directing, I'm sure they'll be doing visual effects and special effects and other components of making a film. What's your feeling about that? What's your feeling about that? Is this something that you look at, seeing all these potential new directors coming on board? Um, and do they come in, especially since some of them have been, more cutting edge as far as technology goes? Is this a good thing for someone like yourself to work with directors who have a more of a concept of what special effects are or what visual effects are, versus say some of the older folks from Hollywood that maybe haven't kept up with what's going on?
I haven't really given that any thought. So I guess on the fly, I would just have to say that I respect any filmmaker, and I differentiate filmmakers from directors. And I would consider myself a filmmaker. If you have the gumption and skills to do something, you can be very creative and interesting. And if you're just someone who sits back and tells people what to do, it's a lot less interesting for me.
Yeah.
So I don't care where they come from, or if they're young or old, or if they know tech or they don't know tech. If they've got a cool perspective and they bring something interesting to the film, I'm totally down to work with somebody or not. Doesn't really matter. I think that it's interesting, this moment of obsession and back rooms, and I think the backrooms director seems a bit more interesting to me. I know he did something kind of in line with what I just did in terms of my new film Beyond the Drumlins had like 150 VFX shots. I know backrooms he was like working in Blender and Nuke, and he was going crazy. And it's a very, very taxing thing to do enough VFX to make a feature film if it's like a real big like central part of your project. It takes a special filmmaker to do that, and I don't even know how many shots he did originally, but fucking good on him, man. Like that's awesome. I think it's exciting, and I think that if you have like the guts to do that and the willpower to get it sounds dramatic as hell when I'm saying this. I'm sorry, but like it is exhausting. Like the tone, like what it takes out of you to do that many shots when normally it's teams of hundreds of people. For you to do that solo is ballsy as hell. And I think if he can do that, he'll do whatever the fuck he wants. And that's pretty awesome.
I hated that movie. Just hated it. I thought I just didn't. I guess maybe I didn't see it through your eyes, but man, that movie just it didn't. It's just it wasn't too weird. It was just to me. I mean, I can respect the process, the work going into it. I guess. I mean, it looked like rooms of post-it notes. I just, but I think a movie that I'll bring up that it probably is more similar to that movie is one I did like quite a bit, and that was Skinnamarink. That movie is a trip and a half for me, to watch that and see how they did that movie. I was more captivated by that per se, by the mystery and the complete story that he was telling. But I mean, as far as I guess from the story wise, not for me per se, but what you're saying about the shots and the work that went into it, and I thought he had a lot of a crew, Daniel. I thought a movie like that would have to have a lot of tech people working on it, since it's such a
It did,
visually
but he
driven
also
movie.
he made it as a web series for years before that, where it was
Right.
just him and a laptop. And I try to like I might say that something like an Eric Roberts movie isn't for me, but I really try to avoid saying things like I hate it or sucked.
Ah,
I
I
think
you
that
know
I think every too much time goes into these things that the person needs to sacrifice, like make something and then tell me how, like, 'cause it's rough, man. I think
what
out of
what was your
respect for everyone's time and I mean, it's just, I don't
well,
know. That's just my two
let me
cents.
let me ask you this. Let's put you in charge of that movie. That movie right there. What would you have done differently?
I wouldn't be directing that movie.
No,
And if
that's
I
a
was
sub.
VFX supervising it, like I have to be able to remove my ego and to just step aside and do what the director wants. If I were a movie like Backrooms isn't something that I'm going to write. I like
Yeah,
people a lot, and I'm going to write lots of like people-oriented stuff that bends genre in weird ways. That movie was
yeah,
strange, but it's not the kind of thing that I'm going to create.
yeah. It's just I guess it's just I just I'm sitting there and watching. I'm just waiting for something to happen.
Should I be
And
answering these questions also that are coming in the chat? Because people are asking if I wear
oh,
like a bicycle helmet and stuff, which yes, unless I'm at the skate park, sometimes I don't.
right, right. As far as
I'm just seeing these
safety wise,
questions. I'm very distracted. Sorry.
I know I get target fixated. Let me go back here and catch
I'm
up
not
here.
ignoring anybody. I don't know what I'm
No,
doing
no,
here. So
I'm target fixated here. Uh, let's see. Let's see. I have a relative who's in the final stages of her first film. It's kind of related to Christmas. Any advice you could give to a young director? Um, I, but you're not really Christmassy.
no, I hate
Um,
Christmas, but I think an advice to a young director would be to um, experiment a whole lot and be comfortable with failing. So if you mess up like 20 times, you're 20 times closer to making something really good.
yeah, I like that. I like that answer. Let's see. What's your favorite? Okay. What's your favorite food to eat on set? That's actually an interesting question. So
Bananas.
where huh? I mean, okay. So I guess that would be I guess that's a legitimate question. Do you have a favorite food that you like when you're working?
Bananas.
Okay.
No
Uh
mess. Keeps you
yeah.
hydrated.
Let's see. It's understood that you were the flame art. It's indicated here. It's indicated that you were the flame artist. Sounds interesting.
Yep. It's compositing software. So you're kind of like punching out green screens, putting images together to make new images. Everyone
Now,
thinks it's a fire thing.
do companies come to you, Daniel, knowing you and your body of work and how much professional you are? Do companies come to you and ask you to test run their new software, on things like, hey, well, here's a brand new something we just want to see if it goes anywhere. Would you be willing to test it out? Do you get approached a lot that by companies to try new products?
No,
No?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I would think, you think that'd be the natural, natural testing ground, to see how you want it to run, was to give someone who knows how to, someone, who's a visual effects supervisor. You think you would be the perfect person to test run it. Let's see. Let's see. Uh, let's see. Uh, and and how did E.T.'s finger light up when he touched Elliot's nose? Okay. See, I'm reading your bio, and it states that you like to bike ride. That, yeah. Well, I mentioned earlier about you drawing to create energy, to create creative energy. Um, I guess that's a good question too. I mean, is that does physical exercise help you get into that mental? Because, like you said, it's a lot of mental work of what you do. So, in order to keep your brain fresh and vibrant, what do you do to do that? I mean, besides drawing.
I mean, I used to mountain bike professionally. Like not, I didn't make money on it really, but I was competing in the professional class and going to contests and doing flips and stuff. So riding a bicycle in a pretty aggressive manner takes the stress out. Play a lot of basketball, and I like to lift weights, and it's kind of about it. It's really all I have time for. I play music sometimes. So yeah, I think doing stuff is important. I like to
Right.
watch films too. I like to be lazy. But
Oh, what are some of your favorite films that you watch and do you watch it as a fan, or do you watch it as like a visual effects manager?
again, I don't really have like a naturally like a resting VFX interest. It's just execution at this point. Like it's just what I need to do to like pay the mortgage. I I watch movies as a fan 99.9% of the time. And then there's some time where there's like something specific. Like the one we're shooting in September it's really inspired by like 70s New York City thrillers. So I like have been there's times where, I'll put on The Marathon Man and I'm gonna watch it just sort of taking note about how is it constructed or something like that. But I want to watch movies because I love them. And if you
Uh,
do that, you're going to absorb everything anyway, and you just need to like keep just absorbing and going on to the next one.
who's your favorite director or filmmaker, I should say? Who's your favorite filmmaker?
David Lynch.
Yeah, why am I not surprised by that? I think I would have guessed that. I would have guessed that.
I
Yeah.
am yeah, I remember the first one I saw was Mulholland Drive, which was came out my junior year of college or of high school, excuse me. And I remember thinking it was really cool, really interesting, and I saw like a 35 millimeter print of it and was enthralled. And then it was Blue Velvet that really like turned me on. Like that was the one I couldn't stop going back to it. And yeah, he's missed.
Yeah. I think for me, the first time I saw a David Lynch movie was for me it was The Eraserhead.
It's so good.
It's a mind blowing film. And it's really mind blowing. I like reading. I like sometimes I'll punch up with like critiques or thoughts or opinions, and there'll be like 20 different stories with 20 different 20 different articles about it, seeing the movie 20 different ways. It's an amazing film. It's like there's no right or wrong. It's like whatever you say about it is absolutely going to fit whatever you think it is. And I can't think of but a handful of films that actually, and I would take some time to think about that, but I can't think of very many films that I can Eraserhead that does that, to like the house, like you look at it like through 100 people, and 100 people are going to go, what's it about, and they'll come up with 100 different answers. That's rare. That never happens.
I'm
um
really plot stupid. Like I don't really care about narrative too much. Like I think ideology is like the first thing that I worry about with a film. Like what's it trying to say or what's it commenting on or like why am I like where's my empathy coming from? And Lynch is really appealing for that because he has this he had this confidence of just letting you sit with it. And I think what you feel is so much more important than what you understand. Because like, why are we so comfortable? Like on like life is this chaotic, insane mess that we don't get at all. Like, why do we expect art to make sense?
I don't think we should. I don't think we
But we
should, you
do,
know.
we do. Everyone's first thing is just like story, story, story. Like there's a plot hole here, blah blah. Like for fuck's sake,
Well, yeah, I
that's
guess,
not how it is.
I guess you got me here because I'm one of those that, to me, what makes a really movie good is the story, and then the other thing is the cast. It's that I could, you know, to me it's like, you know, like I can go with a weaker story if it has a really strong cast, but I don't like it when a movie wastes a cast. That's one thing I really just really gets on me really bad, is like when I'm sitting there watching a film and it's just like it's horse manure, and you're watching a good cast just go to waste. They're trying to bring the freight, but there's just, that dog ain't hunting, you know, and it frustrates me as a viewer to see that happen. Um, and then again, a lot of times though, a lot of these movies that have excellent stories, they're never seen. They're never seen. That's the other thing that kills me. I sit there and I watch people talk about all these other movies, and they're all like, they're okay, but man, some of the movies that the people just never get to watch, they never watch it. They never get to take a chance on it because nobody else is watching it. So I can't watch it. And you just want to sit there and say, take a chance. I mean, come on. How many times how many times did you introduce Eraserhead to friends? How many times did you sit there and say, watch this, or Mulholland Drive, watch this, and then what? Because they normally wouldn't watch it, because if you know your friends, you know their viewing habits, and they
I
normally
don't need
wouldn't
to
watch
push
them.
David Lynch on my friends. I'm surrounded by fucking weirdos, man. We're all on board.
But you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying about check this out. It's like finding a great new band. You go down and you take your friends and come on down. I gotta show you this, because you found something so cool and exciting, and you just want to share it with everybody. And it's like a lot of times it's like, unless it's on the front page, unless it has all over the internet. A lot of people just they'll never give it a time of day, and that's what kills me too about film watching. It's like, wow, okay. um but yeah, I'm a story driven guy. uh you got me. Let's see. Yeah,
There's
so I
nothing wrong with that,
personally,
by the way. I think that story is like the probably the fourth or fifth thing that I'm paying attention to.
what's the first thing?
Feeling.
So emotion.
No, emotion or yeah, connection or do I feel do I feel connected? Do I feel stakes? Do I feel absorbed? Every movie has a different feeling, and has a different way of like communicating either an authenticity or a departure from reality or whatever. But like, can I get on the same wavelength as the filmmaker? If I can't do that, it doesn't matter what the story is. So I do think that like there's that first, then there's probably aesthetics, like cinematography, color, to some extent VFX, as much as I harp on the fact that I don't care about VFX. But I can watch a movie with bad VFX and be perfectly satisfied. But if it doesn't make sense,
Right.
like David Lynch, for instance, has got a bunch of wacky, pretty shitty looking VFX things that he does from time to time, and I still love it.
Right.
Yeah, it takes a while for you to get to story.
Let's see. Hobb says here, I personally feel like movies like Backroom and Skinamarink would be hard to shoot because of the angles. That is a I mean, I know that for Backrooms, I know they basically built like 30,000 feet of, I mean, 30,000. I mean, the the time and effort went into the movie. They built 30,000 feet of set, and and of course, it being all yellow, there was even a few people that sort of got lost on set. Same thing happened to some of the people that worked on Scrubs. That they said the same thing when they were filming at this old abandoned hospital. They said that whenever they're filming whenever they're filming, people would get lost in the hospital, and you try to wrap your mind around that, going like, wow, you've been there for 6 or 7 years, but yet here it is. You get out there, next thing you know, you're looking around and you get lost. It's I guess I guess that's something to be experienced. Let's see. Haas says he hasn't seen Backrooms, but it's getting mixed off, so I don't know. Yeah, I out of respect to our guest. Yeah,
You don't
I
need
don't
to
know.
respect me.
I don't know. I mean, it didn't float it wasn't my cup of tea.
See, that's the answer.
Now
It should be. It should be.
I'll
It's
tell
not
you a
for me.
movie. But I will tell you one movie that now I'm sitting here thinking about this, and I think this is something that you probably have watched. I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. Was Good Boy?
I've not seen Good Boy. In fact, I think Korean cinema in general is kind of a hole for me. I don't really know why. Maybe I'm bigoted or something.
Oh,
It's
Good
yeah.
Boy's an American film.
Oh, is it? I thought Good Boy. Or I'm thinking of Old Boy. That's the
Yeah,
Korean film.
no, Good Boy was a man and
Oh,
his
the dog
wife.
movie.
Yes. Oh my gosh, 3 years of filming that movie. That
That's right. I thought it was Old Boy.
well, that movie. Oh my gosh, knowing how you are, knowing how you feel about a movie, I would love to come back when you come back next time. I would love to hear your thoughts about that movie. Totally, I might love to hear your thoughts even before even if before you come back. I'd love to hear your thoughts about it, because that movie was that's probably the most fascinating things I've ever seen being made.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's a special movie, really special. All right, so let's talk a little bit about. I mean, you're directing now. You're also doing visual effects. You worked on some great movies. I guess I have to share people some of the movies that you worked on as a visual effects manager, supervisor. Some of them are really beloved in the horror community, like Smile. How did you get involved in Smile? How did you? How were you approached? How does a visual supervisor get approached for a project like Smile or Armageddon Time?
I did both of those projects at the Artery, which is a New York City-based VFX company. I'd done a few projects for like Beyonce there in the past, and I kind of just got stumbled into it. They needed another senior compositor. I didn't VFX supervise. I was just doing shots. Yeah, so we were working on Smile, and then there was some downtime, and shots were with Paramount. They were going for reviews, and then Armageddon Time was doing its premiere at Cannes. So we had a whole bunch of shots come in that needed to get done for that as well. So we were just sort of double dipping, working on two films at once. Yeah, I never saw Smile. In general, if I've worked on a long form thing, I don't watch it after, because it just brings back too many memories and too much stress.
Are you a horror fan, guy?
Oh yeah, I love horror movies.
Horror movies.
Absolutely.
What are some of the horror films that have impressed you the most?
Impressed me the most?
Yeah, that you like the most. What were some of your favorites?
Like new films or old films or both?
Any and all films.
I'll try to give you a cross sample. A new film that I like that I don't think has gotten enough attention is Marshmallow. That movie is great. That's a really fun take on the campfire kind of camp. It's like the summer camp slasher with a really great genre twist that you don't see coming. I was really stoked that movie has gotten like a sequel commissioned, and it blew up enough, but I don't think enough people have seen it. Everyone should watch Marshmallow. That director seems like a really sweet dude. Yeah, Marshmallow is great. A movie that's older that I really like, and I go back to the most, is probably 1978 Invasion of the Body Snatchers which maybe
Uh,
you could nitpick that that's not so much of a horror film, more of a sci-fi movie. Fine, I don't care.
both,
That noise at
both.
the end makes it a horror movie as far as
Uh,
I'm concerned.
hell yes.
I
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a better mix of like theme, architecture, it being like, westward expansion, being in San Francisco, just there's this shot in that film where you think it's a Dutch angle and it's completely off-putting, but they're just using the hill to their advantage and the shot's actually level. And it's like a Dutch into a Dutch. It's so fucking cool. Great performances. Yeah, that's one of my favorite movies. And I love all the offshoots of that, all the like low budget versions of Body Snatchers that came out later. I think like The Faculty gets kind of hated on because it had a real kind of like offensive marketing campaign. Offensive just being it was like capitalism, capitalism, capitalism. Not like there was some thing that happened. But I love The Faculty. I think that's really fun. I guess and that's something just sort of more classic would be. I'm a huge fan of Fulci, and I think the
Okay.
Beyond is on my list. And I guess one final one, just because it seems to influence everything for me, is Event Horizon. That's like my Sunday afternoon movie, if I had to choose.
I think Beyond. I think the Beyond has one of the top 10 finishes. The end of the shocker at the end. It's definitely
Mm-hmm.
top 10. That movie is bonkers. That last 10 minutes is it's yeah. I mean that movie stays with you for years. If you've seen it, that movie stays with you forever. Much more than I mean, I like his other films, but The Beyond is just yeah. The story itself is really wicked, and the ending is that's yeah, it's beyond driven. Let me get back to the chat here. If Hops is dropping more, Hops is actually tearing it up today. Let's see. Either way, sounds intriguing. Good. I'll let her know to keep working on it. Her first film will be released in December. Most of us here are physical media collectors. Are you a physical media collector?
I have a small collection of movies that I don't trust corporations to keep on their servers, and just things that I need to have around. A lot of David Lynch stuff. I'm a big John Carpenter fan as well, which is sort of a weird combination. But I think my sweet spot in a movie would really be something in between. If I could like average those two filmmakers out, it's like my exact perfect movie. Like 50% of a Lynch film and 50% of a John Carpenter movie. Like, oh yes,
Escape from Mulholland Drive.
I'd watch it, no problem.
Me too. Me too.
And I got to give some credit to John Carpenter. I saw
I
his.
watch that. That's my favorite Carpenter film is Escape from New York. I love that movie so much. That movie's so much fun. Let's see, classic thrillers. One of my favorites was Blowout. Oh yeah, De
Yeah,
Palma's
Blowout
Blowout.
fucking rules.
Yeah, damn. Any thoughts on that one? Yeah, it rules. I still need to see Sunshine. I'm ashamed I haven't seen it yet. If I'm being honest, there's a lot of people have not yet seen Sunshine, and I'm one of them. I
Is
have
that the,
not
are you
seen.
talking about the Danny Boyle movie, or is that
Yeah,
something
yeah,
else?
yeah. No, it's a Danny Boyle movie. Yeah,
Hobbs, how
that
did you
movie.
go from Blowout to Sunshine? I don't understand the connection.
I don't
I'm
know
not judging
either.
you. That's just
Uh,
wacky.
yeah, I've seen Blowout. Blowout is Blowouts. That's a type of Fulci ending too. The ending where he's sitting there and they have that girl. He's hearing his girlfriend die and she's screaming and they go up there. That's a good scream. And John Travolta's there sitting there just slowly going away and he's going, yeah, that's a good scream. Ooh, terrific ending. Um, let's see. There's a really good point. That's a really good point, Dan. I seen a reviewer destroy one of my favorite movies the other day. The reviewer stated that the story was bad, and story was bad. In my opinion, I'm like, who cares? I enjoyed it for it and what it was. Um, yeah, but you know what though? Let's think it this way: reviewers are like assholes. Everybody has one. So, I don't believe a reviewer should not, you should never give a reviewer that kind of power over your project. I mean, I talked to a director who made an absolutely beautiful first film, and she went to to Seattle to show it, and there was 400 people there, and afterwards, people were standing there talking, and she mentioned how two people came up to her and were saying how they didn't understand her film and what she was trying to say and really wasn't there for them. And I'm going like, so why are we concentrating on those two when there's 398 people sitting there going like they liked it? I would I would use my energy on those 398 and not really give anybody to give the two there any sort of energy. I just wouldn't do that. It's like, same thing for the guy from Backrooms. I would tell him the same thing about me. Hey, I didn't like your movie. Who gives a rat's ass? There's 20,000 people out here that do. So throw your energy there. Um, that's just my point of view. What do you think?
Yeah, right on. I mean, everyone's going to do what they're going to do. I think if you've made something and people, they just tell you sometimes, I hear it. I mean, I can't tell you some of the awful things people have said to me or about my films. And it's easy to say, like, you'd rub it, like, let it roll off, but it upsets people. I think
Sure.
you don't expect to make everyone, like, you're not trying to make something for everyone necessarily. I'm certainly not, but you still don't like, I don't go out of my way to talk shit on people's films. So it's really strange to me when I see people that do. And when people just come out and say, like, this was bad, like, the art isn't good or bad. It doesn't work like that. It's like saying, like, a shark is bad for eating. Like, it just is what it is. It just does its
Yeah,
thing. So I don't know. I mean, everyone has every right to their emotions, I suppose.
sure, sure. I guess because Hobbs also is a film reviewer. He reviews films, and I do too. I review. I got reviews on my channel here, but I just look at it as like I do try to find the best in all movies if possible. But honestly, I know they say it's supposed to be like you said, if they make something, if, hey, at least they made a movie or whatnot. I just found myself going like, wow, I can understand if the first movie they made was not so good because they're just learning. They're taking baby steps. I mean, no one. I mean, I can't think of anybody coming out and hitting a grand slam the first time out. I mean, I just can't think of that. I mean, a handful of films that I've watched that I've sitting there going like, that's how do they get it right the first time so well? I mean, it's just amazing to me. But but most of the time, it's a trial and error thing. I mean, when you were starting your when you start doing visual effects, like you said, you went to the office for a year and you learned and you practiced and you improved your craft. After that year's out, just look at it. Look at the projects that you get to work on. Look how much demand that you are. It's because people expect you to know and provide tremendous skills and tremendous product because you worked at it. I mean, just because you have a camera, if you gave me a camera, Dan, and told me to go out there and shoot something, and I could go out there and shoot it for 5 minutes, doesn't make me a filmmaker. It just makes me someone who went out there and did a camera. But I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know I don't know what I'm doing. I would need to do it several times more to hopefully become somewhat proficient. um, do you get asked to teach a lot? I sense that you would be a good teacher. Do you think that, do you think you would be a good teacher if someone came up to you and said, I want to learn this?
I've mentored a lot of artists. That was part of
Yeah.
my job at the
Hey,
Mill, which was another big VFX studio. And for a while, I would talk at SVA, which is like the School of Visual Arts in New York City. I would do like a lecture on the business of being an artist.
yeah.
I like doing it. I like talking to people, and I'm pretty comfortable public speaking. And honestly, as a flame artist, that's my job. I'm often leading a part of being a flame artist. The difference for us is we often have to work with a room full of clients breathing down our necks. So you're
Mhm.
doing the thing while you're talking and entertaining and playing music and getting them to talk about their day and fleshing out the idea and shaping their project. And it takes a specific kind of person who can do that. And it's similar to directing, or at least the way I direct.
Um, what is harder to do, making an ad or a film? I mean, as far as applying visual effects? Is it more challenging to do an ad or a film?
They're different challenges because an ad, you still need to be pretty close to, like, an ad, you kind of have to hit the B plus, A minus, but you have to do it way, way, way faster over far shorter things, right? An ad is usually, let's just say it's a 30-second ad. That's 720 frames that you need to make look perfect or close to perfect. A film is going to be that times, I can't do math right now, but you're going to need to do like 180 times that. Not every shot's going to need VFX work and stuff, but I feel like when I make a film, the way I think about it is like you're trying to make a big ball, like a big snowball that you're pushing up the hill, and you're just trying to like get as much of it. You're just going to keep moving the thing up the hill and make the whole thing better. An ad, you tend to like, this is perfect. Next, this is perfect. Next. Whereas in film, you're wrangling. You're just trying to like shape and sculpt. So it's sort of a different mindset. They're both difficult. It's different. It's just very different.
Now, I know this is going to be, because I don't know exactly how this works, but for something like that, like you said, 120 frames. So, are you able to tell what's right with the film by just your visual, or do you have to put like special glasses or lenses on so you can get the frame up, so you can see if there's anything that needs to be fixed? Because I'm just thinking to myself, if I had to sit here and like go over 720 frames in front of my computer, I wouldn't know what to look for, because there's 720 of them. I mean, how do you fix that? I mean, if you watch it, how do you spot the glitches and how do you fix it? Or do you just sit there and say it needs to be reshot?
No, I don't think we've ever had to just like abandon a project. There's definitely projects that I've finished that I haven't been totally stoked on at the end because it's been rushed or whatever. But that's not my problem. That's usually just resulting in schedules and stuff, and you do the best that you can, and you work a whole bunch of 18-hour days, and you hope that you get through it. There's different techniques. I don't wear glasses or anything. No one that I know has like some sort of like glasses that'll help cheat what you're seeing. Sometimes what you'll do is you'll do what's called a difference mat, and that'll take the original plate and it'll sort of just anything that's different from the original plate will appear white. It's just like a subtraction thing. So every pixel is a value between 0 to like 100. So anything that's different shows up white. So then you can sort of see like, oh, well, that edge looks kind of fucked, or like, why is the defocus not the same? You're seeing anything that's just different from how it had been shot. So like that's like a way you can kind of like make a procedure to see. There is also an entire squad of people who deserve to be shouted out, even though they annoy the shit out of me on a project. Like there's always tech ops people, and they're there just for your tech fixes. Like, right, like I'm there to like translate an ad agency or a director's vision into an image. And then the tech ops people are like, hey, Dan, this is fucked. This is fucked. Why'd you do this? Like, and then we have to fix all that too. But I wouldn't.
Yeah, but and damn well if you sit there and said, okay, jump in there and fix it. They'd be sitting there going, like, what?
Oh yeah, they don't know, but it's a skill set thing. It's like I don't have like a real. My brain isn't wired like that. I know that about myself. I need to kind of just be cut loose, interpret, and try to like make it look as good as I can. And everyone's good at different things.
I guess one subject I haven't touched bases with you yet, but I guess we'll go ahead and we'll make this our last segment. But let's talk about AI. What's its role in the future?
Guessing. I'm not. I don't know. I feel like it's talked about enough. Next question.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just naive. When CGI came on board, when CGI came aboard, it was the newest thing, right? Because before CGI, there was all practical. And then after that, then we started doing CGI shots.
Was it all practical though? Because I'd argue that like there's nothing practical about Star Wars. There's blue screen, there's compositing, there's models. Like the models were physically shot, but they
Right.
weren't like in the shot, right? Like that's a lot different than a physical thing like the original, the Hawks, the Thing,
Well,
which
I
is like
think
a
they used
creature.
well, they used the models for for the final fight. When they went inside the Death Star. I mean, you could definitely tell that it was just all models. I mean, it
Mhm.
was you knew that even I knew that even the first time I watched it. You could tell that it was sort of like watching Superman 2. When you got there and you saw the fight with Zod, you could definitely tell that was shot on a set. It was just too stagey. It's like it wasn't big enough, basically what it was, and you could tell it was a set. And then when and the same thing with Star Wars was you could tell that the Death Star was a set. Now, of course, like effects for like from the guns and whatnot. Um, I guess that would probably be one of the first movies that brought aboard CGI. I guess my point was when CGI came out, I don't really remember it. I don't remember it ever causing the sort of reaction that we're seeing now with AI.
Well, I think that's a business comment, which that's AI is being forced down our throats. Everyone
Yeah,
is it's a threat. People are
it
being
is.
told that they have to use it or they'll be forgotten. They have to be blah, blah. And it's asinine. AI is, I
Agreed.
mean, look, it's not even a new thing. Like, right, I think since 2017, 2016, that's around the time that I started implementing either machine learning or I was noticing that like outsourced vendors, sometimes like rotoscoping to like cut me out of an image and put me on a different background if it wasn't shot green screen. That at one point was all done completely by hand. And I noticed that things were coming in. And if I like looked into how they were done, it was all code. So some machine was doing it, and I wasn't really sure what. And the AI thing isn't particularly new, but it is an assault on the middle class.
Yeah.
So when I say I don't really want to talk about AI in terms of like its future and blah blah blah, I think that really what I'm getting at is that I don't have anything good to say about AI. Will I
No.
use it if my clients or my studio tell me I need to? Sure. Do I use it in my workflow? Unfortunately. It is a class destroying piece of shit. And I don't like the idea that someone like Sam fucking Altman has taken the creative outputs, the books, the films, the culture of an entire species, distilled it into an algorithm, and then is trying to sell it back to us. I'm sorry, that is fucking wrong. So
Agreed.
all I have to really say about AI is that it's a disgusting thing that essentially tries to make people who don't have talent feel enabled. Is it the future? I don't know. If it is, it's
No.
not exactly a future that I want to be a part of.
No.
Sorry for getting
No.
heated. I think it's fucked up. And
No.
we
That's
and we
what
have to
I
use it all
wanted
the
you to
time.
express yourself. I
We
wanted
use
you
it
to express
constantly
your.
and it doesn't work. It does not work. It is oversold, overhyped bullshit. It has limited capabilities in visual effects. It has made projects that I've been on look substantially worse. And yeah, if that's the future sucks because the best that anything that's generative AI can do is be mediocre because it's what it does. It's an averaging algorithm between like what has already been. You're not going to get anything interesting out of that.
Oh. No, I wanted an honest answer. So yeah, thank you for that. I mean, yeah, I I sort of expected, because I mean, here you are. I mean, I feel he's sort of bad even at making a thumbnail. Like I just made my first thumbnail and I'm like, I'm looking at it and I'm going like, you get that little charge that wow, it's can you do this? Can you make this? And all of a sudden it comes up with it looks bright and pretty and everything else. And you go like, wow, did I do that? And then you think about it for a minute, like, no, you didn't. The machine did it for you, and it's just asking for your approval, but you'd put no creativity into it. And so you're right about people using it and feeling like they did something important when in fact they haven't. I totally agree with that. All right. My last question to you would be for tonight will be what's the rest of your what are you working on now, and what do you got going up for the rest of the year?
Well, my second feature, Beyond the Drumlins, which is a folk and cosmic horror kind of mashup, is coming out this summer at some point. We did our festival run kind of last summer, and we're going through sales right now, and I have paperwork I need to sign, and it will be coming out. It's a very strange, very dark, slow burn. It was inspired by Mark Jenkins, I was talking about earlier. His film Ennis Men really inspired me to make this movie. It's got a cool cast of a lot of people that I worked with for like Blue Hour and my other movie. And then if you've seen the show Oz, one of the Italian gangsters from that show is in it. This dude, Mike Gilhooly, who I know from the basketball court. And someone from the NBC show SEAL Team. We got her. We got Emma right before she went SAG. Yeah, so Beyond the Drumlins is cool. We won a ton of awards with it. Audiences either love or hate it. There is zero middle ground, which I'm fine with.
Who's gonna distribute it for you?
Good Deed, and I can't actually say because the paperwork's not signed.
Oh, okay. I hope it's like I'm just gonna throw this out there. I hope it's ISC or Shutter.
I'm not on their radar. This is a movie that we produced for very little. And then
we'll have to do something. We'll have to do something about that, to get you on their radar.
That'd be awesome. I'm going to be at the IFC Center tomorrow night. So
you're the man. Yeah, I love the IFC films. Like I told you before, that's my jam. That's my favorite. That's one of the things I would probably be the first thing I would go to. If I ever took a trip to New York, it'd probably be the first thing I go see. Would probably be the IFC Center. Then
you're wearing a New York hat. Where are you?
I wore this for my friends. I got this hat. I got this. It's a damn Met hat, and I'm a Yankees fan. But I was showing a little bit of support for my friends because their team sucks so hard. So I said, you know what? I'm going to throw you a little love. But now it's pretty much, like our season's already shot to shit already. They've already lost like 8 in a row. So, but I wore it to support a couple of friends. I don't know. Maybe it's bad luck.
I mean, I'm in Mets country here. I'm not a baseball guy. I think it's I'm part of that generation that grew up playing soccer and basketball. But
okay,
you see a lot of that. Yeah, I'm more of a basketball head. I mean, I've got a lot of the cool thing about New York and just working in the post industry is just how many international dudes you're hanging out with and learning about different cultures. And my neighborhood here in Astoria, I don't know this as like fact, but people have said it's got more languages spoken than any other city in America. And I believe it. Like I'm in Little Egypt, and then right down the street, there's like all these Greek dudes. It's a very diverse place. It's awesome.
Wow. New York is cool. I mean, it's such a cool vibe to it,
It's great for film, man. I mean, IFC, Angelica, you've got 3 or 4 Alamos. There's a lot of great independent theaters in New York. And I live right down the street from the Museum of the Moving Image, which is fantastic. And like, that's such a cool place because I've seen like 2001 there on like 70 millimeter, which is wild. But then the Lloyd Kaufman, who runs Troma Films, is in the neighborhood too. So then you'll get like Tromeo and Juliet the next day. Like, where do you get that? Like, where else on the planet can you go from Kubrick to Lloyd fucking Kaufman back to back?
Well, how about this? I went ahead and I got a copy of Blue Underground. I got a copy of Blue Underground's The Final Countdown from 1980 with Kirk Douglas and Martin Sheen. Do you know who's one of the producers on that fucking thing?
Lloyd Kaufman.
Lloyd Kaufman, and he had a speaking role in it.
He's in the Superman. I mean, he's he's made a bunch of like weird sludgy movies, but he gave James Gunn his start, and James Gunn puts a little Lloyd Kaufman cameo in everything. I think it's pretty rad, and he's like an 80-year-old dude. You see him around the neighborhood, walking with his vape, drinking a Red Bull. You're like, damn, man, I hope I have that kind of energy when I'm your age, man.
Yeah, Uncle Lloyd. Yeah, he's a legend.
It's awesome. And I walk by the trauma offices whenever I'm in that part of the neighborhood. And yeah, it's just exciting. It's exciting being around that many filmmakers, you know? I know a couple other indie directors around here, and it's just, if everyone is kind of just making stuff, you know, it motivates everyone to try to do better, you know, not in a competitive or like way, but just I think everyone just feels like, you know, we can do it and you can make something cool. And it's really the point of it, right?
Right, right. Let's see. See, Hobbs is sitting here. Says here. Let's see. It says, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Has me feels has me the feels for sure. I couldn't sleep for days afterwards. Yeah, neither could I. Beyond the Door. Also, that one is the same. Is that the one with Juliet Mills? Beyond the Green Door, I think it was.
I'm not familiar with Beyond the Door. Yeah, it is Juliet Mills. Good call.
Yeah. See, correction. I was talking about Blue Velvet. He still needs to see Blue Velvet still. Yeah, I know a lot of people are big fans of Blue Velvet. Dennis Hopper and was it Isabel Adjini?
Rossellini.
Rosalina.
And Kyle
Yeah.
MacLachlan. And
Kyle
also the dude
MacLachlan.
from Eraserhead.
I'll tell you what was really crazy was I got a copy recently. I've never seen the movie, but I know about it. But I just got my first copy of Showgirl, and of course Paul Verhoeven directed that, and I like Paul Verhoeven because he did Starship Troopers, which was one of my very favorite films of all time.
Very
And
subversive movie.
it's what's really frustrating for me though was watching because I the clip of the because Elizabeth Berkley and Gina Gershon did that movie with Kyle MacLachlan. Those two women got absolutely roasted. And it basically just derailed their careers. It really did. I mean, if you really go back and see the projection, it just went off the rails with Showgirls. Kyle MacLachlan did not. He went on to have a hell of a career. And Gina Gershon got a lot of she started doing a lot of lower budget stuff. Elizabeth Berkley has always struggled to find consistent roles. And
I had a theory for why.
Okay.
Because Kyle MacLachlan's not terrible in Showgirls, and Elizabeth Berkley is.
Yeah, but I don't think one bad performance should ever derail anybody's career.
It certainly shouldn't. Yeah. But but that's what happened, and it does happen to women unfairly, for sure.
That's my point.
Yeah, that's a fine point. I'm not going to dispute that. I'm just saying that, like, if you were to actually compare Kyle MacLachlan's performance to Elizabeth Berkley's in that film, he doesn't do much. He's barely in it. In fact, unfortunate or not, if you think about Showgirls, you're going to remember the shot of Elizabeth Berkley walking out and ripping her top off. It was in like the trailer, for Christ's sake. And then Kyle MacLachlan, he's in it, but you don't really remember him for whatever reason. And he's got the saving grace of essentially being a Lynch, part of that world. So he's just going to be like a little weirdo anyway.
Yeah, I just because I like Gina Gershon. I thought she was she's always been pretty good in everything she's been in. I mean, she was in Bound with Jennifer Tilly. She was in one. She did a really good high intense horror thriller called Inconceivable. And then she did a movie I really liked a lot. That was
Thanksgiving.
One Sure Thing.
I've managed to go back to Thanksgiving.
Oh gosh, yeah. I know the actress who played the one that got killed in the oven. Karen Cleese. Yeah, Karen Cleese. I know her. And that was a hard scene to do. She was there with Eli pretty much all day. And it was there was just a handful. It's like four people. Eli and Karen and 3 people, and they did that whole oven scene.
Hey, Eli has made some gross stuff. I mean, I'd love to talk to that guy because we grew up in similar parts of Massachusetts, and I have questions.
Oh, I got blessed, Daniel. I got through a friend of mine, but I actually got to sit and do an interview with Joe Lynch, who I that's one of my favorite directors. He can do no wrong in my eyes. He's
Yeah, I
so
met
much
him at
fun.
Panic Fest a couple years ago when
Did
my
you?
first film
Uh,
premiered. Yeah, he was a nice guy.
that Yeah, yeah, he seems like a super nice guy. Extremely busy, but really, really cool dude. And I really enjoy talking to him quite a bit. Almost as much as I enjoy talking to you, young man, even though we did not get the meat potato today, but we'll save that for the next time. When the drum list gets released, and we'll stay in touch, obviously. Um, I'll send you my review of Bossvilla, and you can understand where I'm coming from. Um, and we'll stay in touch. And then when your movie comes out, we'll have you come back and bring some of your cast members, and we'll talk about it.
Cool. Yeah, whatever you guys want, man. Always down to talk movies.
Me too. Me too. All right, young man. I want to thank everybody in the chat for coming out. Hobbs, you ruled the night, my friend. I wish you would come on and co-host with me again sometime soon. You've done it before. I'd like to have you come back and do it again. Everybody else who showed up, thank you so much. We'll be back tomorrow night with we're going up north to Canada to talk to Jamie Hill from who one of the stars of Skidamarinik, and we'll also be talking with filmmaker Neil Chase from Brimstone Pictures, and we'll be here tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. So thanks again, and we'll see you soon. Stay right where you're at, Daniel. Peace.